Hello friends, welcome to this new course on strings in Python. So basically in this course, we will be covering strings in Python in detail. So as you know that strings are very powerful concept in computing. So whenever you design algorithms or you solve any real world problem computationally, strings are heavily used. And if you look into any competitive coding problems, you will see a lot of different kind of variations of string problems. So strings are very important in terms of problem solving, and in interviews also, big companies, so they have questions around string processing. So string processing is very important. So in this course, we will be looking at how you can efficiently process string in Python. So first we will be looking, okay, what are strings, how to declare strings in Python. Then we will be getting deep and we will be looking into many of the built-in functions. So built-in functions are very powerful features of Python. So built-in string functions, we will be looking at it. And also we will be looking some string formatting options. So in short, it will be a complete overview of strings. So if you complete this course, then I am quite sure that you will definitely master string handling in Python. So let's get started with the course. So in this course, we will be using Google Colab as our Python IDE. So we will be writing all the codes in Google Colab, and I also want you to use a tool like Google Colab or Jupyter Notebook. Or if you're using PyCharm, that's also okay, or traditional IDE, LE. But we will be using Google Colab. So now how you can access Google Colab? It's very easy. The URL is collab.research.google.com. So let me write it out. collab.research.google.com. So just visit this link and then you have to just click on file and new notebook. So just create a new notebook and you can name it whatever you want to name it, and you are ready to go. So you can, and I will recommend you that you also do practice, means do coding along with me. So whatever we will discuss, I want you to just try it out in Google Colab, because you know that programming is like mathematics. The more you practice, the more concepts it will get clear. Okay, so now let's jumping into the course. So the first question is, what do we mean by a string? So basically string refers to a text. So any text you use, so that is a string. Like let us suppose I am writing, how are you? So this complete sentence is a string. If I write battle, this word is a string. So if I talk about a definition of a string, so string, we basically in computer science we define it as sequence of characters. So sequence of characters is a string. So if I talk about sequence of character, word is a sequence of character, because if you look into this word battle, you can see that okay, it is containing some sequence of characters like BATTLE. So it is a string. Similarly, how are you? It is also a sentence, but it is a sequence of characters. So it is a string. So whenever we see sequence of characters, we call it a string. And string can be a word, a sentence, multiple sentences, paragraphs, complete articles. So all that falls under the category of string in programming. So now we got an understanding the meaning of a string, that is the sequence of characters. Now the question is, okay, how we can declare a string in Python? So it's very easy. So basically, if you look into Python, so if you want to declare a string, the syntax is just write down the string in single quotes or in double quotes. So basically Python supports single quotes, double quotes, and also triple quotes also. So you can see here, so here we have a variable username and it is storing a string. Anything enclosed within quotes is a string. So here Peter is enclosed within single quotes, so it is a string. And in the second line, you can see Janet. It is enclosed within double quotes. It is a string. So string can be enclosed in single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes also. And here userSpouseName is a variable which is storing a string. So in Python, declaring a string is very easy. You just have to use quotes, either single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. And here userAge is equal to 30. Since 30 is enclosed inside the quotes, it will be treated as string by the Python interpreter. Okay, so if you don't use this quotes, so if you just remove this quotes, then it will be treated as integer. I hope this is very clear to you. So now it is very clear to us that, okay, in Python, if you want to declare a string, it's very easy. Just use quotes. So the sequence of characters, just enclose that within quotes, then automatically that will be treated as string by the Python interpreter. So easy. So we have seen, okay, we have three options: single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. Now, why is it so? Why we are having three options, which means that what is the difference between all the three variations? So let's try to look at it. So let us suppose I have a string in single quotes. So string is sequence of characters. Similarly, I am having a string in double quotes. I can have a string in double quotes. And also I can have a string in triple quotes. Yeah. So now see, what is the difference? See, we know that, okay, sometimes in strings, it involves single quotes. Like, let us suppose I am using a word like Mary's house. So when I use Mary's house, I have to use a single quotes now with S, as you can see here. So in this sentence, we have a single quotes like this, Mary house. So you cannot enclose this within single quotes. So if you enclose this within single quotes, there will be a conflict. So in order to resolve that, we have to enclose this within double quotes. So this is the use of double quotes, basically. So the idea is that if the string in itself contains a single quotes, then you cannot enclose that string within single quotes. Then you have to use the double quotes. Similarly, there might be some special strings which may contain double quotes within them. In that scenario, you cannot enclose those strings in double quotes. For example, let us suppose I have a string like India is in Asia. So let us suppose I have a sentence like this: India is in Asia, and India is enclosed within double quotes itself. Now, in order to declare this string in Python, definitely we have to enclose this complete sentence within quotes. So here we cannot use single quotes, we cannot use double quotes because it is itself enclosed within double quotes. So we have to use triple quotes over here. So this is very clear to us. So now we got an understanding, okay, what is the difference between enclosing inside single quotes, enclosing within double quotes, and enclosing within triple quotes. So this is very clear to us. Okay, so now see in Google Colab, if you want to run the program, it's very easy. So see, so this is the code. So you just have to here you will get two options, code and text. Just click on code. You will get a new block and just type this code. And in order to run the code, just click this play button. So when you will click this play button, during the first execution, it will take some time because as you can see here, the top you can see here. So it is getting connected to the cluster. Now the cluster is getting initialized. Now the cluster got connected. Yeah, so a green tick. So here you can see a green tick. So green tick is an indication that okay, this code is error free. Means whatever you have written, it is completely accurate. Means it is syntactically correct. And also the beauty of Python is that since Python is interpreted, whatever the code you will write, when you will run it, it will also get interpreted. Means it will be converted into machine code, and also it will get executed. So this code also got executed. Since we are not doing any printing operation, we cannot see any output, but internally we can see that okay, some memory blocks got allocated. So in those memory blocks we stored Peter, Janet, and 30. So in this scope, so in the scope of this program, we have three variables: username, userSpouseName, and userAge. So this is how it works. So now, okay, we got an understanding, okay, how we can declare a string in Python and what is the difference between single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. So this was easy. Now the next concept is, okay, we can also concatenate string with a plus operator. So now let's try to understand what it means, okay? So see, we know that using the plus operator, we can add two numbers. Let us suppose I write 2 plus 2. So you will tell, okay, it will be 4. And it is completely right. So if 2 and 2 are integer, then we will get 4. Because normal mathematical operation, addition will take place. But there is a twist. So it's very important to look into it. So let us suppose if I write like this, then what will be the output? So now I know that anything enclosed within quotes is a string in Python. So 2 now it is enclosed within the quotes. You can see the single quotes. It means that 2 cannot be an integer and 2 has to be a string, because Python interpreter will treat it as a string. So now we are basically trying to add two strings. So this can be done. So adding two string is known as concatenation. So concatenation is a very important operation in Python. So what is the meaning of concatenation? Adding two strings or adding multiple strings is known as concatenation. String concatenation, we call it string concatenation. So here we are, 2 is a string. So we are adding two strings, 2 plus 2. So definitely when we will add the two strings, what output we will get? We will get, so basically whenever you add two strings, they will just get merged into a single unit, a single string. So it will get merged into a single string. So this is how it works. So as you can see in the code, so here we have this S1 is equal to Peter. So S1 is a string variable which is storing a string Peter, and Peter is a string because it is enclosed within the quotes. Similarly, S2 is equal to Lee. Now I am trying to add S1 and S2. Since S1 and S2 both are string, we are trying to concatenate string. And we have seen that whenever we concatenate strings, the individual string, they merge and they become a single unit. So when I will print S1, Peter will get printed. When I will print S2, Lee will get printed. But when I will print S3, S3 is S1 plus S2. Peter, Lee will get printed without any space because it will just merge. So Peter and Lee will merge. So Peter, Lee will get printed. So as you can see in the output, and we can run it also. So you can see, so first we got Peter, then we got Lee, then we got Peter, Lee without any space. So this is how string concatenation works. So now I hope it is very clear to you how string concatenation works. We can look into one more example, the same example like this. So here we are taking a number called 24. Since it is enclosed within the quotes, now we are clear that it is a string. Python interpreter will treat it like a string. Then we have another number like 6. Okay, now if I try to add these two strings, now I know that okay, both of them will get concatenated. Now if I try to print S3, it should be 246 in the form of a string. So 246. Now this 246 will not be a number, it will be a string. Now let me prove that. So in Python there is a function called type. So So what type does is that inside type, whatever variable you will pass, it will return the type of data stored by that variable. Now we know that, okay, S3 is storing S1 plus S2, and we have seen that the output is 246. So S3 is storing 246. Now you might be confused that, okay, this 246 might be integer. So in order to prove that no, it is a string, I am just trying to print the type of S3. So the type of S3 will give me a clear picture. So type of S3 is telling that, okay, it is str. So in Python, str means string. So now we have proved that, okay, when we will concatenate two strings, definitely the string will get merged into a single unit and the result will be a string, as we can see here. So when you concatenate to 24 and 6, where 24 is a string and 6 is a string, the result which we got is a string. So this is very clear to us. Okay, so now let's move forward. Now the next very interesting concept is built-in string functions. So now what is the meaning of built-in functions? So now first let's try to understand that. Then we will be covering lots of built-in functions and you will enjoy a lot because we will be doing lots of practice and I will strictly recommend you to practice along with me because with this exercise you will be very confident and you will be able to face any interview question or if you are building any project, you will be able to solve problems. Okay. So now we have to understand the meaning of built-in functions first. So see, if I talk about functions, so there are two types of functions. So first one is the user-defined function. And the second one is the built-in function. So see, as the name suggests, if I talk about user-defined functions, so user-defined functions are those functions which the user define. So let us suppose you write a logic to solve a problem. So for that logic you write a function, then it will be a user-defined function. So any function which the developer writes during the development means during developing a project or writing any code, if you write any function, then that will be a user-defined function. And built-in functions are predefined functions. It means that, see, whenever you install any library, whenever you install any programming language like C, C++, Java, Python, every programming language comes with some packages. That is the built-in functions. So that those packages have built-in functions. So if I talk about Python, so in Python there are many packages like we have OS, operating system, we have random, we have math. So all this, if I talk about maths package, so inside maths package, there are lots and lots of built-in functions. So there are functions like pow. So inside maths, there is a function like pow. So for pow, it takes two number and it returns the power, means 2, 3. So 2 power 3 it will return. Similarly, we have function like abs. It will return the absolute value. So whatever number you will pass, it will return the absolute value of that. So in this way, there will be lots and lots of functions. So that is known as built-in functions. That are predefined functions. We just have to call it. No need to write anything from scratch. Ready to use functions basically. So now it is very clear to us. So strings also has got many built-in functions. Now let's try to understand. So we will be looking at lots of built-in functions. So the first one is count. So the count is the name of the function and this is the parameters which it takes. So it takes a substrings and a start index and an end index. So count function, it takes a substring, start index and end index. Now how it is used with the example, it will be very clear to you. First, let's try to understand. So what count will do? Count will just return the number of times the substring appears in the string. So here we have used the substring. So basically count will tell us, okay, how many times the substring appears in the main string. And this function is case sensitive. So now let's jump into the example. It will be very clear. So see here what I am trying to do. So see here, this is the main string. Okay, this is a string. So this is the main string, and I am using the count function, and this this is the substring. So what this code is basically doing, this code is trying to count number of times s appears in this string. See this how much powerful it is. So first let's run it. So output should be 1, 2, 3, because you can see here 1, 2, and 3. So in this string, s comes 3 times. So definitely it is 3. Now you got a understanding. Okay, let us suppose during problem solving, if you encounter any problem like count number of occurrences of a particular letter in a string. So with this you can count it. So if I tell you, okay, in this string, how many times I occurs? Okay, so you will now you can do that. So just write down the string dot count, and whatever letter you want to count for, means how many times it will occur, just write it and just run it. So it will also be 3. So as you can see, I also 1, 2, and 3. So output will be 3. So this is one of the variation in which way you can use the count. Now let's look into the second example. You will get more clear understanding. So here, this is the main string, and we are calling the count function on the main string. This is the substring, and this is the start index. So now what it will do, it will start counting for s from the 4th index. This is very important. So let us suppose you don't want to start, you don't want to look at the entire string, but you want to start counting from the 4th index. Then you will do this. And one more very important thing you should note that, see, string always starts with 0 index, which means that the index of this will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3, and this will be 4. So if I talk about 4th index, so I will be the 4th index, and this will be 5, and it will go like this. So now it is very clear to us. We got to know that, okay, in Python, if I talk about indexing, so indexing always starts from 0. It is very clear to us. So whenever you will do the indexing, always start from 0, as we have done here. And here in this program, what is happening in this code, basically, we will be starting from the 4th index. So we will be start counting from the 4th index. So counting will take place from here. So here you can see that, okay, after that we have 1 and 2. So 2s we have. So according to the concept, output should be 2. Yeah, we got 2 as the answer. So this is very clear to us. So this variation is also clear that, okay, let us suppose there is a scenario where we want to count the number of occurrence of a particular letter, but after a particular index, then you can use a syntax like this. So this is the substring, and this is the start index. And also we can use the end index also. So in this variation, basically, everything is same, means we have the main string, we are using the count function, we are trying to count number of s in this main string, and this 4 is the start index, and this 10 is the end index. End index means it will count until that index, means it will basically look until that index. So, and one more very important consideration, of very important concept, you should know that in Python, or whatever end index you will specify here, it will be -1, which means that since the end index is 10, so we will look until 9. This you should remember. So whatever end index we will represent, let us suppose we use n as the end index, then we will look until n-1. So this is something which you should be very careful about, because this thing troubles a lot for beginners or freshers. So this is very clear to us that, okay, whatever end index we will specify, the interpreter will look at n minus 1. So if the end index is 10, it will look until 9. So now we are very clear that, okay, since it is 4 to 10, now the interpreter will look from 4 to 9, which means that indexing will start from this 0, 1, 2, 3. And one more very important consideration, very important. See, space is also a part of string. Space is also a part of string. So fourth index will be having a blank space. Fifth index, sixth index, seventh index will be having a blank space. Eighth index will be having a. Ninth index will be having a blank space, and 10, and so on. Since we know that, okay, indexing will be from 4 to 9, since it is 4 to 10, interpreter will look from 4 to 9. So in the 4 we have a space, and in the 9 we have a space. So basically interpreter will look this region for S. So it will count number of S in this region, and we can see that, okay, number of S in this region is only 1. So the output will be 1. So let's look at it. And the output is 1. So this is also very clear to us. So now we have seen all the variations of count. Like inside count, you can just pass a substring. So it will basically scan the entire main string to count the number of occurrences of that substring. Or you can pass the start index, and you can pass the both start index and end index. And end index will always be -1. Means interpret whatever end index you will pass, interpreter will go until that end index -1. And indexing always starts from 0. And space, we have seen space is, since space is a part of the string, it will also be counted in indexing. So this is very clear to us. And one more thing we have seen that, okay, this count function is case sensitive, as you can see here. So what it means is that, see, if you will count for capital T, so it will only count capital T. It will not count small t. So what it means is, in this string, if you look at it, you will see it has 2 T. So one is this and one is T, this T. But if I talk about capital T, it only has one capital T. So if you pass capital T, it will only count for capital T. So the answer will be 1. So this is known as case sensitive. This function basically treats small t and capital T differently, or small letter and capital letter differently, and it is important. So the answer is 1. So now I hope the count function is very clear to us. And with using this count function, you can see you got an realization of its power, means how powerful it is. You can easily calculate the number of occurrences of substring, which is a very important concept in competitive coding or problem solving. Okay, so now the next built-in function is endswith. So the name of the function is endswith. So here we inside it, the first parameter is the suffix, then the start index and the end index. So now how it works? So basically endswith returns true if the string ends with specified suffix, otherwise returns false. So basically, as the name suggests, ends with. So whatever suffix you will write, means suffix, you can say that last part of the string, some chunk of characters. So if the string ends with those chunk of characters, then it will return true. Okay, it will say that, okay, yes, the string will return, and the string will end with those characters. So now let's look into the example. It will be more clear to you. So here, see, this is our main string, that is the postman, and I am just using the ends with function, and I am giving the suffix man. So now basically this function will look at the main string, and it will look that, okay, whether the main string is ending with this suffix man. And we can see that, okay, yeah, this main string is ending with this suffix man, hence it will return true. So ends with will return true. So this is very clear to us. And if I will make like this, then definitely it will return false. It returned false. So this is very clear to us how ends with works. And index, now here you can also pass the start index. So now this is very clear to us. We have already seen that. So what now it will do, the interpreter will start counting from the third index to the end of the string. So we know that, okay, indexing starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So the third index is T. So from T, it will start looking into the string and it will look for man, and it will see that, okay, the string is ending with the man, and hence it will return the true. So it returned the true. So this is very clear to us. Similarly, we can also pass the end index as, and we have seen that, okay, whatever end index you will pass, the interpreter will look -1. So if you have passed 6, it will look until the index 5. So basically, interpreter will look from 2 to 5. So here we can see that, okay, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So 2 to 5 will be this. Yeah. So here we can see that we are trying to look that, okay, whether this substring means the region from 2 to 5, whether it is ending with man or not. And since we can see that it is not ending with man because it is ending with A, as you can see, I have marked it. The fifth index is A, and it is not N. It is, so it is not completely containing man, but it is containing MA. Hence, it will return false. It is, I hope it is very clear to you. So now we have seen all the variations, like you can just pass a suffix with the start string, suffix with the start index and the end index. That is very clear to you. Similarly, one more example we have here. So here we have 2 to 7. The end, so we are telling to 7 means the end index will be 6. So basically the idea is that, okay, the interpreter will check from 2 to 6. So now if I look at it, I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 means S, from S to the end of the string. And this substring, that is STMAN, whether it is ending with man, yes, it is ending with man. And hence it will return true. And it will return true. So I hope this is very clear to you. Okay, so now one more very interesting concept we have to see is that, see, suffix can also be a tuple of suffixes to look for. So now what it means with this example, it will be clear to you. So here you can see that, okay, instead of just passing one suffix, we have passed multiple suffix inside a tuple. So we know that, okay, in Python, we have different data types, special data types, like we have list. So square bracket is a list, round bracket is a tuple, and curly braces is a dictionary, and dictionary is a key value pair. So here the idea is that in the endswith function, you can also pass a tuple. So tuple will be having a set of values. So set of suffix we will be having. So now the idea is that, okay, so now it will look for man. So the idea is that, so whatever main string you will pass, so the function will look whether the string is ending with man. If it is not ending with man, it will check whether the string is ending with ma. If it is ending with ma, it will return true, and if it is not ending with return ma, it will return false. So the idea is that it will look at each and every suffix. If all the suffix fails, then only it will return false, and if any of the suffix satisfy the condition, then it will return true. So it works like this. So now with this example, it will be very clear to you that, okay, it is 2 to 6. It means that compiler will look from 2 to 5. We have already looked at it. And this is the main string. Indexing will start from 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 to 5 means S to A. So the substring will be STMA. And now it will look for man. So it will look that, okay, this region, either it is ending with man, no, it is not. Now then it will jump to this. Either it is, it will look that, okay, whether it is ending with MA, yes, it is ending with MA, and hence it will return true. So now let's look at it. So you can see that, okay, it ended with the true. So this is how it works. This is the way it works. Okay, so now let us also look into the case sensitive example. So it is also very easy to understand. So let us suppose I am writing like this, and I am just passing like this. Okay, so now here you can see that okay ends with, now this man is different from this man because of capital M, and hence it will return false. It returns false. So I hope this is very clear to you. So ends with can also be very useful in some of the scenarios. Now the next built-in function is find. So the name of the function is find, and basically it will be containing a inside parameter you will be passing the substring and start index and end index. So what this find function will do, it will return the index in the string where the first occurrence of the substring is found. So basically find function, first it will look at okay whether the substring is present or not inside the main string. If the substring is present, it will return the first index, means index of the first letter of the substring. With example, it will be very clear to you. And if let us suppose there is a scenario where inside the main string there is no substring, then it will return -1. And this function is also case sensitive. Okay, so now with the example, it will be very clear to you. So first, let's look at this scenario. So here we can see that, okay, this is the main string. This is the find function. We are calling the find function on the main string. And this is the substring S. So we are passing the S. So basically, we are trying to look at, okay, whether this string contains S or not. And we can see that, okay, this string contains S. So it will return the index of the first S. So it returned 3. So why it returned 3? Because we know that okay, indexing starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And the index of the first S is 3. So now it is very clear to us that see, find function always return an index. So it will return the index of the first occurrence or the first letter of the substring, and it will return -1 if the substring is not present. So this is very easy to understand. Now here basically we are having that start index and end index. So we know that okay, the interpreter how it will work, like okay, it will look, the region will be from 7 to 10, because 11 we know that it will be 10 11 -1, that will be 10. So indexing will start from 0. So it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on. So this is the 10th, and this is the 7th one is the space. So from the space, so it will be like space A, space, and S. So this is the substring. This is the region in which we will be looking at. We will be finding S in this region, and since we have a S in this string, in this substring, you can call that it as, or the region, it will return the index of this S, and the index of this S is 10. So the output should be 10. So let's look at it. So the output is 10. So now I hope it is very clear to you. So now you got an idea, okay, how find works. Now let's try to look at it. So this is also very interesting. So here basically we are trying to find P, and we can see that okay, this string does not contain P, then definitely it will return minus. So it returned -1. And also we know that this function is also case sensitive. So let us suppose if I write like this, capital S, then also it will return -1, because capital S is not there in the string. It will return minus. Okay, one more very interesting scenario you have to look at. It is not necessary to just pass one character. We can pass a substring also. So let us suppose my substring is TRI. So now I am basically checking whether TRI is contained inside the main string or not. And we can see that okay, TRI is contained. So what it will return, it will first we will be doing the indexing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the index of t is 11. So what it will do, first it will check, okay, it found that okay, tri is present, then it will basically return the index of t in here. So it is 11. So basically it will return 11. 11 it return. So in this way it works. So basically it is not that only one character you can pass entire substring. And basically this function will check, okay, whether this substring is present in the main string, and if it is present, then it will return the index, and if it is not present, it will return -1. And similarly, the count function we have seen. So count function also we can basically count for substring. So the idea is that if I talk about this is, so now is combined, so it will count for all occurrences of is, and we can see that okay, this one occurrence and this two occurrences it had, so it returned 2. So we can pass a substring in these functions. So this is very clear to us. Fine, we have completed. Now let's jump into the next built-in function. So that is the index. So the name of the function is index, and it also takes a substring as the parameter and the start and the end. And what index function does is that it returns the index in the string where the first occurrence of the substring is found. So it is also doing the same thing as the find function which we studied just now. So you might be surprised that then what is the use of it, because it is also returning the index of the first occurrence of the substring, the same which the find did. But the difference is that if the substring is not present in the main string, in that case what will happen, index will return an error. In that scenario it used to return -1, but find returns -1, but index returns an error. But that's the difference, and everything is same. So now let's quickly look at it. So here basically we are just having this main string, we are calling the index, and we are passing s. So basically it will check whether s is present, and if s is present, it will return the first index of the first occurrence of s. And here we can see that okay, indexing will start from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 3, it will return 3. So let's look at it. So you can see that okay, it returned 3. So this is how it works. Similarly, okay, now let's look at it s and 4. And we know that this is the start index. It means that the interpreter will start looking from 4 to the end of the string. And if I do the indexing, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So the fourth will be the space. So from this to the entire string, it will look for s. And since s is present, so s is present at the 6th index. So basically, the first occurrence of s is 6th index, it will return 6. So it returns 6. So in this way it works. Similarly, here we can see that okay, we are having s from 7 to 11. So basically the interpreter will look from 7 to 10. So if I do the indexing, I know that okay, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the 10th one is this s, and 7th one is space. So the string is like space a space s. So here I will be looking for s, and s is present at the 10th index. So it will return 10. So you can see that okay, it return 10. So this is how it works. And now, so this is the same as the find which we have already seen, but the difference is if the substring is not present, like p, it is not present here, it will return an error, value error. So this is the difference. Now it is very clear to us the difference between find and index. Okay, cool. Okay, now let's jump into the next built-in function. So that is alnum. So this is the name of the function, and this function does not take any parameter. So what it will do, basically it will return true if all the characters in the string are alphanumerical. Otherwise it will return false. So if the characters are alphanumeric means it can contain either digits, numbers, or letters like A to Z in small or A to Z in capital. Then we call it as alphanumeric. So if the string contains alphanumeric characters, then it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So let's look at the example. So here we can see this main string. It is containing alphanumerical characters because A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will return true. Okay, so one more very interesting thing you should note that white spaces are not the part of alphanumeric character. So here, so if the string contains white spaces, then it will not be an alphanumeric string, and hence is alnum will return false. So whenever there is a white space in the string, that string will not be considered as alphanumerical, and is alnum will become false. So this is very clear to us. And since it is having alphabets, it is alphanumeric, it will return true. So it returned true. Okay, so now here, if I write any special character, so we know that dollar is a special character. So it returned false because we know that, okay, alphanumeric will contain only, it can contain only either your alphabets or numbers or both and nothing else. If it contains space, then it will not be an alphanumeric string. If it contains special characters like dollar, star, multiply, dot, semicolon, colon, it will not be an alphanumeric. And what about underscore? So let's try to look at it. So what it will do for underscore? So underscore is also not a part of alphanumeric. So it is very clear to us. And here, if we are having just numbers, then let's see what will happen. It is true because we know that, yeah, if I talk about alphanumeric, either only alphabets, either only numbers, or both alphabets and numbers, and nothing else. No white spaces, no special characters. So this is very easy, and we have looked at is alnum. Is alnum. Now the next built-in function is alpha. Let's look at it. So what it will do, it will return true if all the characters in the string are alphabetic. So if the characters are alphabetic, then it will be is alpha. If the character is containing numbers, then it will not be is alpha. So is alpha is checking whether the string contains only alphabets or not. So if there is a scenario where you have to check whether the string contains only alphabets, then you will use this function is alpha. So as you can see in the example, ABCD only contains alphabets, so it will return true. So it returned true. But here you can see that, okay, it contains alphabets and numbers. It is not, is alpha will return false because we know that it should only contain alphabets. And if it contains only number, then also it will return false. And white spaces it cannot contain, so it will return false for white spaces also, and for special characters also. So if there is a scenario wherein you want to check whether the string only contains alphabets, then use is alpha. You want to check whether the string contains both alphabets and digits, then use is alnum. And the third is digit. So now it is very clear to us that, okay, it will check only for digits. So if the string only contains digits, is digit will return true. And if the string is containing both alphabets and digits, is digit will return false. And if the string is containing only alphabets, is digit will be false. And if the string contains white spaces or any special character, each digit will be false. Yeah, so now this is also very clear to you. Now let's jump into the next method, that is lower. So as the name suggests, it will check whether the string is lower or is in lowercase or not. So now we can see that all the characters are in lowercase, so it will return true. So true. Okay. Now here it is very interesting that okay, here we have a string wherein we have mixed cases. Mixed A is in capital and rest of them are in lowercase. So is lower in this scenario it will be false. So in order to is lower to be true, all the characters should be in lowercase. If some of the characters are in lowercase and if some of the characters are in uppercase, then is lower will be false. So now I hope it is very clear to you. So that's why the output will be false, and the output of this, since all the characters are uppercase, so how is lower can be true? So is lower will become false. Now the next function is eSpace. So eSpace will basically look that string. If the string is containing only white spaces, then eSpace will return true. So here we have a string with one white space, it will return true. And if I have a string with multiple white spaces, then also it will return true. So the idea is that if the string is containing only white spaces, it will return true. And if the string is containing anything additional to white spaces, like here I have A and B in addition to the white spaces, then it will return false. So each space will check whether the string contains only spaces or not. So if there is a scenario where you have to check whether the string contains only spaces, then you can use this method eSpace. If you want to check whether the string only contains lowercase letters, is lower, only digits is digit, only alphabets is alpha, only alphanumeric characters is alnum. So this is how it works. Now the next important function is title. So title will look for title. It will look whether the string is a title or not. Now, so here the title is title case string, as you can see here. Title case. Now you might be asking, okay, what is the meaning of title case string? So it's very easy to understand. So basically, if you write any string, so the first letter of every word should be capital in title case. So if I talk about title case, so the idea is that let us suppose I write any sentence like I love Python programming. Okay. So basically I have written a sentence. Here you can see that okay, every the first letter of every word is capital. So this is title case. So if the first letter of every word is capital, then we will call it as title case. So this is very clear to us. Okay, cool. So here basically we can see the example. Here you can see that okay, every first letter is capital, so each title will be true. So this is a title case string, and this is not a title case string, and hence each title will be false. Similarly, we have one more function, that is is upper. Now it is very clear to us, it is similar to is lower. Is upper will basically, if all the characters are uppercase, then only it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So here we can see all the letters are capital, it will return true. Here we have some letters capital, some letters small, it will return false. And here we have all the letters small, it will return false. So this is how is upper works. So this is very clear to us. Now the next very important function, this is very important. This is the join function. So join function is used to join strings. So basically we have seen the concatenation operator. So concatenation operator also joins the string. So it merges the string basically. But now I want to merge the string with a separator. That can be achieved with this join function. Now what it means with this example, it will be very clear to you. Now see here, I have a separate, that is a hyphen basically. As you can see here, this hyphen. Now I have a tuple which is containing uh, strings like ABC. Anything enclosed within single quotes is a string. So this hyphen is also a string. This ABC is also a string. And I have a list which is containing DEF. And I have a string which is containing hello world. So I have different types of data type. Now what I am trying to do is that I am doing separator dot join SEP dot join my tuple. Now what it will do, basically SEP is this hyphen. So this join method, what it will do, whatever string is contained inside the tuple, it will merge all those strings. Very important to, it is very important. So be very careful about this. So see, I know that inside tuple, I have this A, I have this B, and I have this C. So what join will do, join will just merge this ABC with the separator, which means that now I have like this, the result of this operation will be this A hyphen B hyphen C. So join joins the string using the separator. So in this way it works. I hope it is very clear to you. So let's run it so that you get an idea. Okay, so first we have to run this block. Now if we run it, it will run. Yeah, so you can see that we have this ABC, a string. So now we got an idea that okay, we can concatenate string with a separator. One more very important point you should note that join always takes one argument. It means that okay, we have to I use either a list or a tuple, and inside that you can have collection of strings. So I have a list, it has collection of strings. Now this string will get joined with a space. I love her. So this is very clear. So now you got an idea, okay, how you can join the string with a separator using this join function. So join built-in function is very useful. Now here what I am trying to do, I am joining my list. So whatever is contained inside the list, it will be joined with the hyphen. So DEF. So this is the, so this is very clear. Similarly, I have a string hello world. Now I want to basically join it using the hyphen. So now let's try to do that. Yeah. So we will get something like this. So this is very important. So see, now we know that string is also, now here I have a string. Now string is a collection of characters. So now the idea is that whenever inside join, if you pass a string in double quotes, so what it will do, it will basically join each and every character with the separator. So here we can see that, okay, we had hello world. So each and every character, it joined it with the separator. So it basically separated all the characters with the separator, that is the hyphen. So I got output like this. So now I got an idea that, okay, let us suppose I have a string and I want to introduce a space between all the characters of that string. For example, what I am trying to do is that, let me show you. I have a string called Python. Now I want something like this. I want P space Y space P space. Now I want to write a code to achieve this. So what I will do, I will use the separator as the space. I will use the join function, and inside that I will pass the string. Now I will achieve Python with spaces, as you can see here. So now I hope this join is very clear to you, and this is very useful because while solving some competitive problems, competitive coding, if you do, there it plays a very useful role. There is a scenario where we have to use join a lot of times. So now I hope you are very clear. You got a very deep understanding of this join. Okay, cool. Now the next very important function is lower. So what it will do, as the name suggests, it will just convert the string into lowercase. So all the characters will get converted into the lowercase. So lower will just convert the string into lowercase, and you can see that the output we got lower. So this is very clear. Now next important function is replace. So as you can see, the name of the function is replace. The replace will take parameters. So old will be the old string, and I will be having the new with a count. So now what it is with the example, it will be very clear to you. So basically what replace does, first let's try to understand that. So replace basically returns a copy of the string with all occurrences of the substring old replaced by new. So basically we can replace some characters or some substrings. So the idea is that, let us suppose you have a string, you can replace some of its character to get a new string using this replace method. So now let us see with this example. So now see, this is the main string. So this is our old string. So now what I can do inside replace, I want to add a rule how I want to replace. So I am telling that, okay, replace all the S with the P. So in this string, all the S will be get replaced with P, and you will get a new string, and you can store it in any variable. And if you print it, you will have a new string wherein all the S will be replaced by the P. So you can see that, okay, all the S got replaced by P. So this is how replace works. And not just single characters. Basically, let us suppose I can also pass substrings. So all the is will be replaced by POT. So here I had is, it got replaced by POT. I had is, it got replaced by POT. So this is how replace. So replace is also very powerful. There are many scenarios where you want to replace the strings, so some occurrences of some string, substrings basically, or some characters. So this we can very easily use with the replace. So old, new, we got an understanding. Okay, old is the existing substring, new is what you want instead of that. And also there is one more very interesting parameter, that is the count. So count is optional if given only the first count occurrences are replaced. So see, so the how count works is this. So in this example you will get an understanding. So here is coming two times. So if I pass count 1, so only the first is will be replaced and second is will not be replaced. So let's look at it. So you can see that only first is got replaced, second is was as it is. And here also you can see that here what I am trying to do, I am trying to replace all the S with the P, and the count is 2. It means that only the first two S will be replaced, this and this. Rest, this will not be touched. Let's look at it. So this replaced, and this was not touched. And if I pass 3, then all the S will be touched. It will be replaced basically. So this, now the count parameter is also very clear to us. So now we got a very clear understanding how to use this replace function. Now the next very important function is split. So as you can see, the name of the function is split, and here we can pass the separator as one of the parameter and max split as the other parameter. So what the split will do, it will return a list of the words in the string using separator as the delimiter string. So the split also basically splits the string, it breaks the string with the separator. So whatever separator you will pass, it will break the string with that separator. So it is very easy to understand. So here we can see that, okay, so don't get confused with this. So this is a multi-line comment in Python. So you know that using triple quotes, we can pass a multi-line comment in Python. So this is a comment. So it will be ignored by the interpreter. Interpreter will just execute this. So this is the main string, and this is the split function, and inside the split function we pass a delimiter. So here the delimiter is a comma. So it means that when I run it, so this, then comma, then is comma, and now see, this space with is a single entity. So that's why you can see I have the second string will be this, the third string will be. So basically what we did, we had a string, we basically break that string with comma. So wherever we had the comma, we got a word out of it. So basically breaking took place like this. So here it got break, here it got break, here it got break. So the first word will be this, as you can see. The second word will be space is, space is, space a, space a, space string, space string. So this is how it works. So split, we got an idea. Now see, not just comma, whatever you will pass. Let us suppose I want to now break this string with s. So it will split with s. As you can see this. So basically it split the string with s. So if I try to understand it, so partition will be something like this. So the first word will be thi, second word will be comma space I. So comma space I. So this is the second word. And here partition will take place. So the third word will be comma space a comma space. So comma space a comma space. So this is the third word. And the fourth word will be tri. So now I hope it is very clear to you. Let's look at one more very interesting example. Now let's try to break it with is. So now can you tell me the output? So we know that, okay, this is will be the one partition, this is will be the second partition. So the first word should be th, the second word should be comma with a space, and the third word should be from here to here. Now let's try to run it. So it will be having three words. The list will be having three words. So th, then we had this comma, space, and the third word is from comma to the entire string. So this is very clear to us. So, and one more very interesting thing we saw that, okay, whenever we use the split function, always a list is written, a list of word is written. So this is how it works. So basically split, what it does, whatever main string you have, you can split that main string based on a substring. So whatever you will pass, let us suppose you pass comma. So if the string contains comma, it will get separated based on the comma. Or if you pass any character, it will, the main string will get separated based on that character, and you will be returned with a list of words. So this is how the split function works. I hope now it is very clear to you. And now one more very important scenario is that you have a string and you call the split without passing any separator. Then what will happen? Let's look at it. Then see, if you don't pass any separator, then the string will automatically get separated with a white space. So here we can see that we have white spaces here. So the list of words will be separated by the white space. So the first word will be this, the second word will be is, the third word will be a, the fourth word will be string. So this is how it works. So now I hope this split and the separator, this is very clear to us. Now the next very important concept is max split. So here you can pass a number. So it will tell, okay, split only two occurrences, means only two, first two do the splitting and rest don't touch it. What it means is that, see here, this string, we are trying to split it with comma. So according to the general rule, all the comma will be separated. So I have four words, one word, two word, three word, and four word. But if I am using two, it means sub partition will be taking place only two times, which means that for the first comma, the partition will take place, the splitting will take place, and for the second comma, the splitting will take place. So since two splitting will take place, this will be my first word, this will be my second word, and this entire will be my third word. So I will get three words, and this entire is one word. So this is how count works. So let us suppose you have a string and you don't want to partition the entire string. You don't want to split the entire string. So whatever number of partitions you want, you can specify it. So this is the separator and this is the count. Means how much split you want. That also we can specify. So split is also very powerful and very useful feature. So now I hope it is very clear to you. Now the next very important function is split lines. So as you can see, the name of the function is split lines, and inside it we can pass one parameter, that is ends. So what it will do, it will return a list of the lines. It will return, because split line, as the name suggests, it will split lines. So it will return a list of lines, and whatever boundary we will pass, so it will split based on that. So now let's try to understand it with the example. So this is the comment. You know that star that hash is a comment. It will be ignored. So here basically this is the main string. So this is the first line, and backslash n, you know that it is the line break. So whenever we use the backslash n, line we enter into the new line, and this particular string, it will be inside the second line. So this is the first line, this is the second line, and if I use the split line, so now this string will get break based on the line break. So it will return a list of lines. So the list will be having two elements. The first element will be this, and the second element will be this. So when you will run it, as you can see the output, the list will be having two elements. So split line basically splits the string with lines. So if you don't pass anything, line break will be the default one. And similarly here I have okay. So here basically I am using triple quotes. We know that we have already seen that string we can define either in single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Here I have defined the string in triple quote, and whenever you define the string in triple quote, if you use enter, by default it will be a line break. If you use enter, it will be treated like a line break. So if you now split it, you will get two elements. So this is the first element which you will get, and this is the second element. So this is also very clear to us. So split lines, if you don't pass any parameter, it will split the string based on line breaks. And if we pass parameter, then what will happen? Line breaks are not included in the resulting list if we give true. What it means? See, it means that, see, if you pass true inside split line, then you can see that line break will also be included in the string. As you can see, this is the same program, same code which we have just seen above. So what is the difference is in the output. So if you don't use true, then also you will get two elements, as you can see. So this is the first element and this is the second element. But the first element will not include this line break. And if you use true inside the split line, then line break will be the part of the first element, as you can see here. So the first element is containing a line break. So this is just the difference. Similarly, here also you can see I have a string in triple quotes, and I know that by default, since I have used enter here, it will be a line break. And if I am using split lines true, I will get a list of lines. So the first line will contain a line break because of this true. So this is also very clear to us. So now we have also seen split lines method, very important. So this is very clear to us. Now let's jump forward. Now the next important function is starts with. So the name of the function starts with, it takes a prefix, a start, and an end. So we have already seen ends with, so it is similar to that only. So if the string starts with this prefix, it will return the index. So it will return true basically. Yeah, it will return true. Starts with and ends with, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So this function will help you in understanding this. So see here, this is the main string, and I am checking whether this string starts with this post. Since the string is starting with this post substring, it will return true. It return true. Similarly, here you can pass the start index and end index. So now we have already seen that here it is 3. 3 means interpreter will start counting from third index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the third index is T. So now the region which the interpreter will look will be this TMAN. And now we will be looking for this string. So now we will be looking whether this string is starting with this post. So as we can see, this string is not starting with this post because this string is starting with TMAN, and hence it will return false. It return false. So this is very clear to us. And also we have this scenario here. We are passing both start and end index. We know that the interpreter will look from 2 to 5. We have already seen that. So the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 2 is S and 5 is A. So it is STMA. And we are checking whether this string is starting with post. Since it is not starting with post, it will return false. It will return false. So this is very clear to us. Similarly, we have this one 2 to 6 means 2 to 5. It will look into. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 to 5 is from S to A. So it is S, T, and A. And now we are checking whether this string is starting with STM. Since it is starting with STM, it will return true. So it return true. Yeah. And similarly, in the same way, we have seen that ends with, we can also pass a tuple, starts with also we can pass a tuple. So the idea is that first it will look for post. If the string is not starting with post, it will look for TMA. If the string is not starting with TMA, it will return false. Otherwise, if any one of the condition gets satisfied, it will return true. If the string is starting with post, it will return true. Or if the string is starting with TMA, it will return true. And this number, it is telling that the region will start from 3, the index. It means that 0, 1, 2, 3. So now the string will be TMAN. So now the idea is that we will check whether TMAN starts with post or TMA. Since TMAN starts with TMA, it will return true. So it return true. So this is how it works. So it is very clear to us. Okay, now let's jump into the next built-in function. So the next built-in function is the strip. So as you can see, the name of the function is strip, and inside this we can pass characters. So here, basically what strips does is that it returns a copy of the string with the leading and trailing characters removed. So now what is the meaning of leading and trailing character is that, see, every string, the starting characters will be the leading and the ending characters will be the trailing characters basically. So now this is very clear to us. Okay, what is the meaning of leading characters and trailing characters? Now how strip works is that inside strip, whatever character you will pass, if that character belongs to the leading and trailing set, then it will be removed. Otherwise, nothing will happen. What it means, in this example, you can see that, okay, we are trying to strip this string with S. since the string is not starting with S and not ending with S, nothing will happen. So the idea is that whenever you try to strip the string, whatever character you will pass, that should be a part of either leading or trailing. Since S is neither the part of leading or trailing, because the string is neither starting with S nor ending with S. If you try to strip this string with S, nothing will happen. So if I run it, you can see that nothing happened. The string will remain intact. It will remain as it is. But instead of S, if I pass G, now I know that, okay, G is the part of the trailing. The string ends with the G. Then definitely it will get stripped. So G got removed. And let us suppose if I write T, and I know that, okay, T is the part of beginning, first letter, it got removed. So now strip is very clear to us. So strip works only when whatever character you will pass, that should be the part of the leading set or the trailing set. And strip is also case sensitive. So if I pass small t, it will not work. It will not basically strip. Nothing happens. And not just single character. Let us now try this th. It works. So basically leading characters, and if I write like this ing, so I know that, okay, the string ends with ing. So now the strip will work. ing will get removed. So this is how it works. So now I hope strip is very clear to you. Now one more thing is that if you don't pass anything inside strip, then what will happen? Then stripping will take, then all the white spaces will be removed by default. All the white spaces means leading and trailing white spaces. All the leading, so see, here you can see that in the leading, I have a white space. In the trailing, I have a white space. So if I use strip, all the leading and trailing white spaces will be removed. So this is how it works. So I hope strip is very clear to you. Okay, now the next built-in. So this is the last built-in operation. So let's look at it. So it is the upper function. So it is similar to lower. It just simply converts the string into uppercase. So I have hello Python dot upper, it will convert it in uppercase. So I have hello Python in uppercase. So this is very clear to us. So now we have successfully covered all the built-in functions. Now the next topic which we want to look at it is formatting string. So formatting string, we can do it in two ways. So both the ways we will discuss. So the first way is to use the percentage operator. So using this percentage operator, we can format the string. Now, what is the syntax for that? Syntax is very important. So string to be formatted, first we will write it in double quotes or single quotes. It should be in quotes. So string to be formatted, then this percentage operator. Then what we have to do, all the values separated by comma. Now, what is the meaning of value separated by comma? You will get a clear understanding in this example. So very easy to understand. So here, see, I have a variable which is having holding apple. I have exchange rate which is holding this number. This is the exchange rate. Okay. Now, basically, what I am trying to do is this. I am having a string. Now, let us suppose. Now, what is my requirement? My requirement is that I want to basically print a string with values of variable inside it. What it means, if you look at this string, you can see that, okay, price of this. Now I want apple to be here. Means the value of brand to be here. To be more precise, because let us suppose brand can be a variable. Let us suppose I take the value of brand during the runtime. If the variable gets the value during the runtime, then you cannot do the static initialization. Then definitely what I want, whatever user enters, that should be there here over here. So the idea is that price of this, and here I want the value of the variable brand, and here I want the exchange rate. Okay, here I want the price and here I want the exchange rate. For example, this variable, this I want here. So how I can do this is in Python, I have to use, these are known as string formatters. So formatting string, we can use some special symbols like this. Now, how it is used, you will get a very clear understanding. Let me help you in understanding that, because that is very important. So see, in Python, %s is used for string, %d is used for integer, and %f is used for float. So now I'm quite sure that, okay, price of this laptop. So here it will be a string, because here it will be a brand and brand is a string, and price %d. I am considering price to be an integer, so that's why I'm using %d. So the idea is that this %s can be replaced with any string, this %d can be replaced with any integer, and this %.2f can be replaced with any float or any real number. F means any decimal number basically. And what is this 0.2f is? So it is basically 0.2. So 0.2 means up to 2 decimal places, because I know that, okay, real number has got some like this. Now it is up to 4 decimal places. And if I have something like this, it is up to 2 decimal places. So point after point, whatever number you will specify, it will be up to that much decimal places. So this can be replaced with a floating point number up to 2 decimal places. And now how it will be done? So the idea is that if you want to do the formatting, so just write the string. So just write the string, and wherever you want to do some insert values, there just use this format specifiers. Like here I want to insert a string, so %s. I want to insert an integer, %d. I want to insert a float, %f, and if you want a specific decimal places, point and number. And then you have to use this percentage, and here you have to pass the variables or data. So now mapping will take place. How mapping will take place? Whatever the first data you will pass, it will be mapped with the first format specifier. Whatever second data you will pass, it will be mapped with the second. And whatever third data you will pass, it will be mapped with the third. So the idea is that now this %s will be replaced with the value of the brand. And if the brand is getting updated in the runtime, whatever the value it will be having, it will be replaced with this s. And similarly, this %d will be replaced with this 1299, and this will be replaced with the exchange rate and the value up to 2 decimal places. So this is how string formatting works. Let's run it, so you will get an idea. So you can see the output. So here you can see that, okay, price of this, so Apple. So Apple, because the value of the variable is this brand, so that's why it's Apple, and 1299, and exchange rate because of this exchange rate up to 2 decimal places. So that's why it became 1.24 to 1.24. This is the output. So now I hope this is very clear to you. Now if now you got an idea that, okay, if I want to do the string formatting using the percentage operator, the idea is that just use the main string, and wherever in the string, wherever you want to insert dynamic data, there just use the % with the type of data, %d for integer, %s for string, %f for float, and point number for specific decimal places. So you have a string with formats, specifiers, and use the percentage sign, as you can see here. So this is the percentage sign you have to use, and in the bracket, just specify the values, or either the variable or values, and it will get mapped accordingly. So this is how we do the formatting. And here one more thing you should note is this. Here also we can specify a number. So this number represents the spaces. So if I run it, now you can see that. So you can see some spaces here because of this. So it specifies the number of spaces, and you can see something like 5D. So 5D means number of spaces. So 5D means total number of space. Total. You can say that. Uh, uh, yeah, 5D. What it means is that 5 characters can be there in the integer, which means that, see, let me give you an example of it. 1 to 99 already has 4, and total 5 can be there. So one space will be introduced. Let's run it. You will get an idea. So now if I run it, so you can see that one space got introduced. And if I do it 10, it means total number of letters should be 10. 4 it already have. So in the beginning, 6 spaces will be introduced. So 6 spaces got introduced. So 10 dBs in total, 10 letters can be there, or 10 characters can be there. So this is also very clear to you. So now we have successfully looked at, okay, how to do formatting using the percentage operator. Similarly, we can do the formatting using the format method. So the syntax is this. So if you are using the format method, here the string to be formatted, dot format and the values. So with this example, it will be very clear to you. So here, basically, I have the string. Now here, if you use the format method, then you can use this curly braces. Curly braces, and this 0 is the index. Index always starts from the 0. So now we are telling that, okay, this is the index of the first specifier, which is the 0, and S is for string. Here, no need to use percentage. So 0:S, it means that the position of this format is 0, and it will be replaced with a string. And it is telling that, okay, the position is 1, and it will be replaced with an integer. And it is telling that, okay, the position of this particular dynamic data is 2, and it will be replaced with a float, and 0.2 means up to 2 decimal places. So first we prepare the string with all the formats wherein you want the dynamic data, then use the format method and just pass the data. Now mapping will be in the similar way which we already looked in the previous example. So this will be the 0 index, this will be the first, this will be the 2. So 0th position will be replaced by this, the first will be this, and second will be this. So in this way it will work, and when we will run it, you will see the output. So here you can see price of it got replaced, 0S it got replaced with apple, 1D got replaced with the price, and this got replaced with the exchange rate. So this is how it works. Similarly, there is one more variation. So this is more convenient if you want to quickly develop some code. Here, just use curly braces. Just curly braces is also a sign. We are telling interpreter that, okay, here we want the dynamic data, and dynamic data will be mapped according to the rule. Like the first will be mapped with the first brace, the second will be mapped with the second brace, the third will be mapped with the third brace. So this is how it can be done. No need to specify the position, no need to specify the format. Directly, simply just use the curly braces. And these are some of the variations which you can see that. So let's quickly look at it. It's very easy to understand. So you can see that, okay, this is the message 1. So here, basically, I am having a string, and inside it, I am just passing numbers, position basically. So in the curly braces 0 and 1. So this is 0, this is 1. So basically this will be replaced with Python, this will be replaced with Java. So if I run it, you can see that, okay, Python is easier than Java. Similarly, for message 2, if we look at it, we can see that, okay, okay, now what I did, 1 and 0. So I know that, see, counting always uh, take place like this. Inside format method, the first data is always 0 and the second data is always 1. So if I am using 1 here, means the first, it means Java will come here, and 0, that is Python, will come here. So now for this, the output will be Java is easier than Python. Now I hope it is very clear to you. So now you will got an idea that, okay, inside format, the number starts from like 0, 1, 2, 3. So data is given number like this. And inside the string, you can use number whatever way you want. So like here, we use 1. So whatever the 1 data it has, it will be replaced. So this is how it works. So message 2 is also very clear to us, this example. Now let's jump into the message 3 example. So here basically what I am doing, I am basically having this. So here I am not specifying any position. So if you don't specify positions, so by default mapping will be taking place. Like first will be mapped to the first braces, second will be mapped to the second braces, and 10.2f 0.2 means floating point number up to 2 decimal places, and 10 means 10 spaces, and d means integer. So when you will run it, so basically you will have this number with some spaces up to 2 decimal places and 12. So this is also very clear to us. Now let's jump into the final part, final example. So here basically I am just using a curly brace and this number. So this entire number will get be replaced with this curly braces. So this is very clear to us. So congratulations, we have successfully completed this course. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. And now I am quite sure that if you practice all the examples along with me, you will be very confident in solving or facing competitive problems or problems asked in lead code, hacker rank, or in exams also, that job interviews like Amazon, Microsoft, Google. So all the string related questions, now if you encounter, now you got some very interesting handy tools, built-in functions, string formatting. So using that, you can very easily solve problems. So I hope you love this course. So please subscribe to my channel for more such amazing courses, and also comment your feedback, suggestions. Let me know, and like this video, share it in your circle. Yeah. So thanks for your time. Thanks for watching.